Dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to be speaking with you at this important Times Now Global Sustainability Alliance Water and Waste Management Summit 2024. And what an inspiring open from Honorable Minister of Environment, Mr. Bhupender Yadav. Let me just start with recalling. We're here to talk about water and sustainability, and we know these statistics, but I wanted to bring them and presence them at this meeting. Covering more than 70% of our planet's surface, the ocean contains 97% of the planet's water, providing us food, regulating the climate, and generating most of the oxygen that we breathe. The sustainable development of blue economy, which refers to the use of coastal and marine resources, is therefore vital to our very survival and well-being. Globally, it is estimated that the blue economy generates between $3 to $6 trillion every year, providing over 30 million jobs. More than 80% of international transport of goods happen through sea routes. It is also an essential source of food for nearly 3 billion people. Today, marine and coastal ecosystems are highly vulnerable to the devastating impacts of climate change. Rising temperatures, sea level rise, and extreme weather events are putting coastal communities at risk. Ocean acidification has increased by 25% from pre-industrial times, impacting biodiversity and associated livelihoods such as fisheries and tourism. Shifts in ocean currents are disrupting global weather systems, affecting agriculture and shipping. A sustainable blue economy can mitigate these threats, contributing to accelerated climate action and the Sustainable Development Goals as a whole. This was also highlighted during India's G20 presidency, where blue economy was made a dedicated agenda item under the Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group for the first time. Together with the Chennai high-level principles on sustainable and climate-resilient blue economy that were adopted offer a comprehensive overarching framework to guide our collective efforts. Here, I would like to focus on 3 key areas. First, undertaking integrated marine spatial planning at regional and global levels that balances environmental and economic policies. As you may know, more than 60% of the ocean is high seas, or areas that are of jurisdiction and fall outside their exclusive economic zones. Therefore, regional and global cooperation is crucial to balance national priorities with the larger conservation agenda. Marine protected areas, or MPAs, are parts of the ocean where human activities such as fishing and tourism are regulated to minimize negative impacts upon ocean health and biodiversity, and they play a critically important role in achieving this balance. Currently, marine protected areas cover only 8% of the ocean. At the UN High Seas Treaty last year, countries achieved consensus to place an additional 30% of the ocean under marine protected areas. This was an extraordinary accomplishment. And we really need more collaborative action at all levels to achieve this ambitious target. Second, use the ocean as a for mitigation. The ocean absorbs an astounding 90% of the excess heat caused by climate change and 23% of human-caused CO2 emissions. I'm just going to repeat that. I think it's a known fact, but just critically important. The ocean absorbs 90% of the excess heat caused by climate change. It's not always well understood and appreciated how critically important that is. And this is why blue carbon ecosystems, from mangroves to seagrass, not only store carbon, but also provide a multitude of benefits, supporting livelihoods, protecting coastal communities from climate disaster, and serving as natural habitats for wildlife. It is estimated that a sustainable blue economy can deliver 21% of GHG emission reductions needed to meet the Paris Agreement target of limiting average global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. Harnessing the potential of marine-based wind energy can potentially reduce 4.5 billion tons of CO2 emissions per year. Third is addressing the issue of marine litter, especially plastic. Globally, we are producing more than 430 million tons of plastic each year, accounting for nearly 85% of the total marine waste. If the current trend continues, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050, and some estimates put that at even earlier date. As we know, marine litter is a transboundary and cross-sectoral issue requiring collaborative policy and institutional frameworks. We need robust data on the stocks and flows of marine litter to enable action on phase-out of single-use plastics, mainstream plastic alternatives, and ensure efficiency and efficacy of recycling models. From marine protected areas to mitigation to marine litter, the role of business and the private sector remains vital and can be the transformative force that we need at this time. You bring the power of investment, technology, and innovation, which can drive the sector towards sustainability. And many of you are already pioneers and entrepreneurs in these areas. At UNDP, we are developing investment and knowledge exchange forums where such best practices can be shared so that we can join our efforts to maximize impact, and we welcome you to join us. Looking at the blue economy from the India context, the country has a long coastline, as we've heard from the Minister, of over 7,500 kilometers and is the second largest fish-producing nation in the world. Its coastal economy sustains over 4 million fisherfolk, and industries like shipping and shipbuilding generate significant economic output and jobs. But these areas are also vulnerable to the impact of climate change, as we've heard. To build coastal resilience and create a sustainable blue economy, the government has undertaken several steps. The draft national policy for India's blue economy aims to enhance its contribution to the government's GDP, to improve the lives of coastal communities and conserve marine biodiversity. Schemes such as the Prime Minister's Scheme on Sustainable Fisheries and Maritime India Vision 2030 for coastal infrastructure and coastal regulation zone notification for sustainable management of coastal areas highlight how the country is building a blue economy in an environmentally conscious manner. As we chart the way forward, it is equally important to ensure the resilience of coastal communities who are already affected. Through improved livelihoods, disaster preparedness, and biodiversity conservation, we can ensure that they are able to adapt to the challenges posed by climate change. And this is especially important from a gender perspective. Around 40% of those employed or dependent on small-scale fisheries are women. Yet it remains a traditionally male-dominated sector where women's work often lacks formal recognition, and they are underrepresented in policy and decision-making. To ensure gender equality, we need to bring women into the formal workforce and make them financially independent through better livelihood opportunities, including those in non-traditional areas like shipping. A blue economy can be sustainable only if it is inclusive. At UNDP, we are supporting governments and communities across 12 coastal districts in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Odisha. Scientific methods are being employed for restoring mangroves and coral reefs. New livelihood opportunities in sectors like aquaculture and tourism are being developed with a focus on empowering women's self-help groups. In conclusion, The newly released Global Human Development Report calls for new forms of global cooperation to address the gridlock and accelerate climate action. As mentioned earlier, under India's G20 presidency, the issue of blue economy was made central to that agenda. The Chennai high-level principles provide the framework for effective collaboration. Now is the time to shift from frameworks to action. Here, it will take the collective energies of government, the private sector, the United Nations, development organizations, NGOs, and citizens to build synergies that deliver a blue economy that protects our oceans, secures the livelihoods of local people, and accelerates the sustainable development goals for all. Thank you.
Thank you.